right. So when I became a dad, I realized that there's more to this whole family dinner thing than just plopping food on the table and we eat it and we go do the next thing to for the evening routine. And I just want to share the 7 reasons why I think every new dad should take charge of family dinner. And so I'm going to be reading a little bit off my notes and maybe looking off in the distance and wanted to share this with you guys. So just hang out, hang tight. All right. So, number one, generosity. So, I think that a lot of times dads are kind of seen in this very one-dimensional way, where dads are, oh, they're the guy that goes does the makes the money, or does their job, or lifts things, or waters the lawn, or does things like that. And while that is kind of true that dads do those things, like the reality is that dads are more than that, right? Like I think that there's a way to do more for your family than just doing the very traditional things of just like going to make a buck, and bringing that money home, watering the lawn, driving kids around. Like, we are more than just one dimension. And I think, unfortunately, in media and the way that people portray dads today, it's very difficult for a dad to express themselves in a three-dimensional way. And the idea of family dinners and cooking has been something that I'm able to demonstrate for my family, that I do care about them, and I can care about them more than just providing an income and a roof over their heads, which is kind of how a lot of dads think. And to be honest, like, a lot of women are now making a lot of money too, so it's kind of ridiculous to think that like it's just the man's responsibility anymore in terms of making income. But I think that being a dad, and cooking for your family and making those family dinners is one of the best ways that you can demonstrate generosity and show caring. It doesn't make you less of a man. It doesn't make you less of anything. It gives you a way to care. All right, number two, I think about the times when I was a kid, and when my mom used to cook for me, and my grandmother used to cook for my mom and her siblings, and my other grandmothers used to cook. And there are these sort of memories that I have as a child, where I'd be sitting at the countertop where my mom would be cooking right in front of me, and I'd be literally just, like, even though she didn't really like say, "Hey, this is come make this thing," or you need to cut. She did give me some tasks, like chopping up the garlic or peeling the garlic or something like that. But really, what I was learning was how she was cooking, and I was exposed to that through that exposure from such a young age over many years, that like it really gave me a lot of the skills to be able to cook today. So in a way, like by doing by doing the family dinner, by making the meals, by having your kids see you cook. I think a thing that I've seen and been talking to a lot of different dads is that they think that, like, oh, no, 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 I don't want the kids in the kitchen. It's very like, chaotic and whatever. No, bring them in the kitchen, let them watch you cook. It's super important, because what they're going to do is learn. They're going to see you doing it. And both parents, if you have a two-parent household or whatever it may be, even if you're a divorced dad, it doesn't matter. It's your job as a parent is to lead, and your job as a parent is to lead your family, and your kids specifically, to uh, carry the torch and be successful and healthy and happy and all these different things. And so, in a way, you're feeding your family for life by making the meals and bringing the family together and taking charge of the kitchen, taking charge of what everyone's eating, is a way so that they can actually eat for life. You don't want your kids to be, to the third point, actually, this is the third point, which is building healthy habits, eating habits, and what I mean to say is that you don't want your kids growing up thinking that, like, oh, everything from a package is like healthy and good. More children today, more young kids today, are being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes than ever before in the United States. This is unbelievable, and I'll link to some research that is being conducted on this in the description below. But the reality is that this is an epidemic way bigger than the coronavirus pandemic or whatever it is. Like, obesity, diabetes, chronic diseases are a really big deal. And the reality is that by creating the structure, you're creating structure as the leader. You're not telling them, oh, you better eat this, or threatening them, or forcing them to eat different things, but you're creating the structure for your family to be able to thrive. And so by doing the thing of like, okay, even if you're doing this family dinner once a month or you're doing it once a week, the idea of the family coming together, you guys sitting at the table together, eating together, enjoying it together, tasting the food, talking about the food, taking notes on what was good, what was bad, what could I do next time, maybe including your kid in the meal, praising them for saying, oh, you did such a good job for peeling that garlic, and you did, oh, great, that was so cool. Like, oh, I could taste the garlic, yeah. And I'm a new dad. I have a little young one, little Branzino. And so the idea here is to basically, make it so that you're building those healthy habits of eating at a table, not being distracted, being social, being around each other. These are how we build these habits and to be successful in the future. The fourth point, and I alluded to this earlier around chronic diseases and whatnot, is you're protecting your children. I think it's kind of, maybe in some cases you need to have a firearm or whatever it is. But I would say the biggest way to protect your children in the 21st century, especially in 2024, is to have them eat nutritious and healthy meals that are not filled with preservatives, not filled with sugar and salt and things that are going to give them diabetes, hypertension, and things that can kill your children a lot faster. So this is why you need to take charge here, is because like you need to correct this. This is not negotiable, right? You need to correct the fact that there are children today that are being fed crap, utter crap, and they're getting diabetes, and they're at high risk and they're taking medicines, and they're at high risk for all these other ailments. They're getting obese. All these things are happening at the same time. And then we're sort of like, well, what happened? Well, you are the parent. You are the parent in this situation. You are supposed to lead your family. And you need to step up and you need to take charge, because this is how you're going to protect them from ailments and harm. All this political stuff or whatever that's out there, maybe it affects you. Where we live and what's going on for most people, for most Americans, for most people around the world, they're not dealing with reasons to be able to have protection of firearms. They don't need that. They need to protect their family at the dinner table and in the refrigerator and in the pantry. That's why you need to know how to cook and make these family dinners. All right, enough. Number 5, you want to reduce the load. We're living in a world right now where we have been in a patriarchal society, and there's still a lot of patriarchy at play and all that kind of stuff. And that's changing. We're, like I mentioned earlier, like a lot of women are going to college, women vote, women make money, women do all sorts of things. But there's this thing that's going on, like men still think that women are responsible for cooking through the whole thing. Like, dude, I'm telling you, just do dinner once a week, and it will pay dividends, not only for providing the memories that you're going to create with your kids and all the things that all the positive benefits of cooking. It's also going to it's going to bring a lot of lightness to your relationship. It's going to make it so that she's not always, or he's not, or whoever you're with, your partner is not overloaded with the idea of cooking. It is a chore, it's a thing, but you're a goddamn man. You could do that. A lot of the guys that I know, they're doing crazy investment deals, or they're doing some crazy engineering, or they're doing some really intense stuff, but you can't figure out like what to make for dinner. You can't follow a recipe and you can't do this. Come on, man. Come on. You got this. You know how to do this. It's not that difficult. Step up, do the right thing, make a meal, make it for your family. And I'm telling you, you're going to bring a lot more lightness to your relationship, not only with your partner, but also with your kids too. Like, they're going to see a different, like I mentioned, number 1, around that idea of being 3-dimensional. They're going to see you in a different dimension, right? And so it's going to bring a lot more joy in the household. I promise. Trust me. It does work. Number 6. Being able to cook and taking more of a lead in the kitchen and around family dinner helps you get ahead. It helps you not have to deal with the mental. So let's say your partner was the one doing a lot of the thinking around food, but like if you're able to help with that a little bit, think about like if you're a family of four or a family of three, you got 3 square meals and a snack, right? You got breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. That's four meals you got to worry about. I mean, some people do 2 snacks in a day, especially younger children. Um, and you're sitting there, and now you multiply that 4 times 7 days a week, or 4 times 365 days, whatever that number is, times the number of people in your household. You're talking about thousands of meals that you have to be thinking about. And if you can get ahead of that, you can cook a meal that could last for a few more days and be effective for your family. You're going to reduce that chaos. It can get so chaotic, and I think a lot of the reasons why people feel as though that they need to like go eat out, or they buy like packaged stuff and they open it up because they like, oh, I don't want to think about those meals. But you got to get ahead of it. By cooking, you get ahead of out of the situation, and you can make more meals for your family. And number seven, this is the most important of all. Cooking for your family is delicious. It's just delicious. Making food, making things that your kids like, making things that you like, exposing them to new ingredients and new flavors and new this and new that. It's a delicious journey. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, why not, right? Like, I mean, I'm not like, I don't have a six pack, but I do work out, but I get to try different foods and different things, and I freaking love it. I freaking love it. And so I think that, you know, it's a wonderful journey. It's a wonderful journey. It's a wonderful thing. And you need to start making family dinner today. You are the leader in your household. You can be a leader in your household if you just start making the family dinner. I know that a lot of new dads that are out there, they're probably thinking like, well, I'm a new dad. I just had a kid like a few months ago, and like I'm useless. I've heard people like, what's his name, like Andrew Schultz, or some of these people who've been on, like, who are very popular, talking about how useless they feel because they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. My wife's doing everything because of the baby and all that kind of stuff. Cook dinner. I'm telling you, do it now. All right, have a beautiful day.